Alright, I'm back with another Destiny 2 video here on day 2 of Heresy. I did have my first impressions of the initial hours of the episode yesterday, and that was enough to do a solo run of Nether and play the lead story quest. That did not go great. The Nether solo experience took me 80 minutes. I did that because I thought explore mode was gonna be chill, and it was not chill. Like, not that it's, you know, impossible or something, but it was terrible and very unfun. Secondly, I thought they put the little quest icon by it, so I thought you had to do that, which you don't. You can just do the normal one. And so now I'm circling back around after many runs of the much shorter, much more manageable match-made version. Surprise! When you do not have every enemy on the map aiming at you, it is in fact easier to retain health. And these things, you know, they take 20, 25, 30 minutes at worst. You know, less than a coil run used to. And you get a lot of loot. I mean, my postmaster is like halfway, 2/3 full pretty much every time I beat one of these, and this is just like the normal version. Between things that drop, things from random chests, things from your focusing tome thing, it's a lot of loot, and this is what you need if you don't have crafting. And it's really weird because I've discovered there's like all these different tiers of loot where there's like a normal drop. There's a normal drop that can drop with double perks, masterworked, and even the other origin trait, and it can use those special mods that are only live this season. I thought that was only for adept weapons. That is not true. You have the adept's heretical weapons that drop from, I think, expert, but those in theory cannot, like, those sometimes do not drop with double perks. But then there's adept versions that do drop with double perks. So there's like 4 classes of items. And anyway, I've gotten a lot of really good, you know, normal adepts. I don't even know what to call them. They're not shiny. The adept ones are shiny. That's a big difference. But it's a lot of loot. They do have at least some sort of shiny mechanics here. I wish you had like a really rare chance to drop an adept from kind of anywhere, but you know, I get that they want motivation for expert, albeit given that you can get all the non-adept stuff with the same modifiers and options and stuff, it doesn't seem that much different, but whatever. The point is there's a lot of loot, and while I don't have, you know, super god rolls and everything, there's some really good stuff in here. The area denial grenade launch is a lot of fun. I've gotten some good rolls with the machine gun, and you know, there's some solid stuff in here. So in terms of the activity itself, as you may have seen by now, I am cheating. I am cheating on my warlock. I am using Crimson, which you may not know this, but Crimson is one of the very few healing sources that slipped through the cracks when Bungie was essentially disabling all healing sources for this mode. That includes almost everything, you know, restoration, recuperation, you know, overshields, heal clip, pretty much, you know, warlock rifts entirely. Like, you have to use your offensive rift, which is kind of funny. A few things slipped through the cracks. I know Crimson did, and Titan's knockout ability did. I think Lumina might have. I'm not 100% sure. And I don't want to play with Lumina if I can play with Crimson. I think the healing auto rifles might be really good. I'm not 100% sure because there's so many sources. Someone can make a spreadsheet. Bungie is aware of this, and they will be patching it at some point, but they also said that they believe that the healing level of, you know, all these different builds is not up to what they wanted to. It seems the error is sort of like, oh, you have 400% health and shields compared to normal, so when these things are healing you, it's doing, you know, 25% of what it's supposed to, or something, like something in there. But the point is that you're not getting healed enough, and they're going to change that. I don't know if they need to. I don't think they should, honestly. The activity, the way it stands, solo is awful. Like, you get in all these situations where you essentially like have to hide behind a wall if you have too many Grim or whatever targeting you, and it's really awkward and uncomfortable. Matchmade is not like that at all. The only time I failed a matchmade one is when Guardian 2436, this is the last one I played, used all of our revives, and then I single-handedly beat the second phase boss, and then my partner left, who was left, and I said screw it. So I'm not doing an entirely third stage of this solo. most of the time it's super easy. I mean, there are so many fountains and like sources of healing that way. Like, I don't have to be using Crimson here. Like, on Hunter, I just beat it a bunch of times. I don't have any secret healing methods there. There are enough mechanics in here where either the healing wells or healing abilities you have are great. It feels like the meta, quote unquote, if there is a meta, is a combination of the mods that give you like faster class ability cooldown and then faster class or heal on class ability. Those really combine for lots of healing all of the time. I don't know if Hunter's is reduced or not, but obviously Hunter's is up a ton, so you can just sort of keep dodging and getting your health back. Whereas, Rift and Barricade go up really often too. I'm really enjoying Titan's Ramparts on Titan for the bolt charge stuff. That's very fun. So it's not that big of a deal, honestly. There's a lot of mechanisms when you play this way that you can sort of negate a lot of the healing stuff. It's not perfect, certainly, but like, for instance, when I just had to beat the boss solo, I was on like no health, tons of enemies. So all I did was like run out of the boss zone, go around and collect a bunch of wells that I hadn't picked up. Some enemies followed me, I killed them, got some more wells, then I came back with full health and a charged super and just killed him. So, there are ways around this, kind of whatever you're doing, even if you're not cheating. And whatever, I don't care about cheating. Any exploit in the game people are going to use, and this is probably only live for a week, so maybe I should do expert while this is live. In any case, the activity itself is okay. I'm not like super wild about it. Like, even overlooking the whole no healing thing, that's not really even kind of the major issue once you get settled in. As of right now, it just starts to feel kind of repetitive. There's only 3 zones ever. There are not that many different types of activities, and you'll find yourself doing a lot of the same ones more than once. There are really tedious ones like pop all the egg bubbles in this room, and that, I don't know, it's not super hard. It just takes a long time and is annoying. And then there's another one that's like kill 3 orange bar wizards, and that takes 8 seconds. So it's a wide range, I guess, but it's certainly not the most exciting activity I guess I've ever played. And it's also not super short because you could just sprint through the whole thing, but obviously you're going to want to also be running around to get chests. And it's not like everybody sort of agrees to this. Like, nobody really gets mad at anybody when they're running off to find chests, because there's friggin' chest icons all over the place. You get guns, you get materials, you get like all of the thing, or at least most of the things you have to turn into the Eris statue to like focus things. Like, so you need to get all these chests. So, a 30-minute run running around getting chests could be like a, I don't know, 18-minute run or 50-minute run or something if you just were going straight through, straight, and then, perfectly dividing up each person soloing a thing. And, there are ways to do it faster, but the way the activity is designed in terms of wanting you to quote unquote explore, not in explore mode. I don't understand explore mode, because it's like the same difficulty as normal mode, only you're solo, and it's not like there's extra stuff open. It's just the same. And I guess the idea is that you can go explore chests without pissing off your teammates, but like, again, that's not a thing. So I don't know why it's not just like a patrol mode. I guess maybe the idea is maybe you could find too many of the secrets too quickly or something, but there's a lot of these, and I haven't really found any that are that cool yet. There's like little worms to pick up and Toland orbs to chase, and a mini game where you shoot a bunch of panels on a wall and Cursed Thrall come out of them, and like they're fine. And then there's some Oryx lore things where if you find his little symbols around, he or someone will talk to you. The voice work's all messed up this season, in a couple of ways, where it's supposed to be Drifter talking to Sloan for most of this, because of the voice actor strike. They could not record a lot of Sloan's lines. I think it's mainly Sloan, so they just don't have lines. So I respect that. It was a strike. Don't work during a strike. Don't use AI to clone her voice, but it's still hard to follow the story in a lot of ways. And something happened where they removed the like who's speaking thing on the top right, which makes it even more confusing. And like during the Oryx stuff, I don't think it's always Oryx speaking, and I don't know all the Hive people's voices. I don't think it's Savathun. Like it's it's confusing to say the least. There's an option in subtitles where you can like manually jam in whoever's name like in the actual subtitle line. So I think you have to do that. But yeah, so that's a little rocky, but I'm gonna not begrudge at that. You know, I think they've done better this time with loot. I think they give you enough loot where getting your god roll is not gonna be that hard, honestly. You know, I've never been to like, oh, you must be able to get a 5 out of 5 god roll. Like, okay, let's calm down. But if you're looking for, you know, 2-3 perks in a mag, like, you're getting just so much loot through this. You know, plus focusing, plus, you know, you're also like dunking things in Eric's apartment. Like, there was a lot of loot each time you run one of these. One thing I am kind of confused and annoyed about is, at least for now, you can focus on seasonal armor, and you're like, okay, well, you know, you get, if you add up all the sets, you get like, I don't know, like 40% more drops of the currency. And you're like, oh, okay, great. You know, maybe I'll actually use a seasonal armor set for once. Although the stats are still garbage. So what, you know, I'm getting 48, 49 seasonal armor. And again, maybe that's different on expert, but like even when you tell the ritual tablet to like focus armor, it's like, okay, here's your awful shitty armor. So I have the class item on, and like that's pretty much it. Although you lose an artifice slot if you do that. So you know, my impressions are more positive than yesterday. Doing that solo is like the worst possible introduction to this activity, and I could see people doing that and be like, okay, screw this, I'm out, no thank you. But just never do that. I don't know why that is set up the way it is. If you want to just challenge yourself, like, go for it. I know some people are doing like expert solo for fun, which more power to you, but no thank you. And then just doing it normal is like perfectly fine, and get a lot of loot, get a lot of rewards, that's fine. I'm just, you know, I'm not sure what's going to happen week to week as this unfolds. Like, is this going to be, are they going to be adding any more boons, any more rooms, any more enemies, things like that? We know that there is another type of mission coming. It's like called a capstone mission or something. I'm not exactly what that is. I think you're fighting a bunch of Hive legendary people or something. But that is not live right now. I assume that's going live in Act 2. But, you know, for now, this is what we have. And it's an interesting concept, but it either is, like, too annoying in the solo sense, or it's just not, it's, like, kind of ignorable, where the health stuff is just not really a big deal. The boon stuff is kind of cool, but they don't really, I don't know. The corrupted boons, like, I get what they're doing, because roguelikes do that, but it's, you know, it's like, oh, you do more kinetic damage, but you completely drain your super when you do it. It's like, oh, no thank you. I pretty much all of those I've never chosen because the downsides are like way too severe. And essentially, I'm just always doing the like, find more health orbs, class item or class ability recharge, class ability healing. The finisher ones are pretty good too. You can get 3 different types of grenades on finisher, which like stacks on top of your existing grenade, and you can heal on finisher a pretty significant amount. So you can kind of see, like, you go for like quote unquote builds during a run. There's just not that many. There's like 2 or 3, I think, you know, if you're choosing certain boons, but you know, it's something, and like they're trying something. So it's just that this ultimately doesn't feel that different, and it feels like an activity where there's kind of a lot of wasted time. Some of these you know, activities are very tedious, and then there's a lot of, okay, you beat this boss over here, now walk across the entire map and go down this entire hallway, just doing nothing for, you know, 5 minutes until you get to the next spot, and that part is not fun. You know, there's traversal segments everywhere, but like backtracking through half of a zone or the entire zone is not super great. I sort of wish you would just teleport to the next zone, because this just seems like time padding. I guess the idea is you could find more chests and collectibles or whatever on your way over, but yeah. Also, please get rid of the goddamn bug that has been there for years, where when you open a chest, it still has the chest icon. This is a very, very important part of this activity, and again, we've seen this everywhere, but we're not collecting chests in patrol this time. You know, this is a mission where you want to collect like 24 chests a run, and I can't tell you how many times I've wasted, you know, even 15, 30 seconds just going to check a chest and being like, oh, right, I got that one. And it's more wasted time. That has been so, like, terrible for so long, and now it's, like, actually an issue with this. Very annoying. Okay. Anyway, yeah, so things are better. I'm still skeptical of a lot of things. Let me know what you think in the comments now that you have all, well, not all, but some of you have actually played it as opposed to getting server issues. And yeah, thanks for watching. I will talk to you soon. Take care.